I'm Gina Filippi, a longtime member of the Rancho Cucamonga Rotary Club. Well, it was 1970 when our club was first started, and the first dinner was at the Regina Winery on Baseline Road. And at that time there were several vintners in the group, one of which was my father. So over the years the club became very endearing to me, and it meant something to be a part of the Rancho Cucamonga Rotary Club. I learned more about the history, certainly, of the club, and early on there were several members of the club that were vintners in the valley. One was Tip Brown, who was the general manager, who I remember, at the Regina Grape Products Company. Then there were the Acamaso brothers that owned the the Cucamonga Winery, and there were others. My father was an early member, as I mentioned, and something else I learned that was pretty unique and interesting. Our club, the Rancho Cucamonga Club, was the first club to allow having wine at its lunches, and this was before a couple guys named Gallo were able to do it at the Modesto Club.
I'm very big in international. That's one of the attractions to me about Rotary. It's an international organization, and one of my goals as being president is to get the club more involved in international projects. So we had a lot going on in my year internationally. We hosted a foreign exchange student to the youth exchange program for a whole year. And we also hosted the incoming district governor for 2 or 3 weeks when at that time the training was held in Anaheim. So we volunteered to host the incoming district governor from South Africa. And let me tell you, ever since that time, we've been longtime friends. In that year, the student came from Hungary, and this was back again in 2002, 2003. We're still in touch with her. In fact, we're in touch with every single one of our exchange students that we have hosted over the years, and there's like 4 or 5 of them.
From what areas of the world?
One is from Brazil, and another one is from Austria, and the latest one was from the Czech Republic. And I tell you, they're great kids, and they're like children to us.
I've been a resident of Rancho Cucamonga since 2008. And I'm a small business owner. I'm an accountant, and I have a business here in Rancho. And my initial reason for seeking out Rotary was for business networking, and I was not really familiar with all that Rotary had to offer. So I was quite surprised when I learned about the events and projects. One of the first ones I was involved with is called Happy Feet, and we actually provide shoes. We partnered with a Payless shoe store, and I'm not quite sure the age group, but the children that were underserved were given shoes and backpacks, and they were able to pick out their own shoes for back to school. And another one is the girls' tea, and that's young ladies who were selected by their counselors from high school to give them a bit of encouragement of what achievements that they could attain out in the real world, and give them an opportunity to hear from other women who are in business or leaders in the community, and give them an opportunity to ask questions about the real world. And of course, you know, the older women always get a lot of advice for the young ladies.
So it's a tea. What exactly does that mean?
So they have etiquette. It's like an English tea. So we have scones and proper settings at the table and all of that good stuff. Chuck Hagel, and he's the owner of Sycamore Inn, and also where we are now, Captain Cleaver, and he was one of the highlights of encouraging me to join, and I just have fond memories of him being so kind, and I miss him a lot. Very generous and smart, bright, charming, all of that. So,
Well, thank you for that.
yeah.
Thank you, Karen.
Woo! Thank you.
Well, you know, it's been an honor to be the president for this particular historic year. I look forward to completing it. I am disappointed that we weren't able to complete a lot of our projects last year because of the pandemic, but we've been able to try to keep in touch using Zoom and other go-to-meetings, and so it's been a struggle, but I think people are getting used to it, and we're going to keep the activity at the club level high, and I look forward to a greener and better day, hopefully, after the first of the year. You know, it's a funny question. I've always been a tangential part of Rotary through Diane, and I had followed her for like 20 years into it, and people would ask me, I would give them the old Groucho Marx answer. I wouldn't join any club that would have me as a member. But I found out by being so involved with Rotary through her that I found that it is a great organization. It is a very giving organization and one responsible for a lot of benefit in the world. So I found that, you know, not only being a part of it, I wanted to be a big part of it, be involved with it, and I was fortunate to be able to fulfill a presidency that was vacant. And I think with that experience, I really learned more and more about Rotary and the activities that Rotary provides. And then one thing I really never realized was Rotary International and the things they're doing. And currently I'm involved in a global grant application for a project in Venezuela.
Venezuela, tell us about that.
It's in a city called Maracaibo. It was very oil rich and then went through the big depression that the country went through. There is a group of people just outside of the city that suffer from Huntington's disease. It's a very debilitating brain disease, which is like worse than dementia. It can start in children as early as 5 years old, and it's genetic. So we're working on hopefully a program where we can bring needed aid to in the form of medications and doctors to the village in the area, and also hopefully maybe find the funding to build a daycare center where these people can come during the day and get treatment and relax. Right now in Venezuela, they treat these people like lepers. So it's hopefully that we can find something for them that will maintain a better quality of life.
Wow, from Rancho Cucamonga reaching across the world to Venezuela. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
Hi, my name is Rick Nelson. I joined Rotary in May of 1983, but my first exposure to Rotary was when I was in elementary school. My father was a member of the Ontario Rotary Club, and at Christmas time, he would take my brothers and my sister, and we would go to a Christmas program at the Ontario Rotary Club. Yes, my grandfather was a past president of the Ontario Rotary Club, and my wife happens to be the goddaughter of Bill Walk, who was president of Rotary International from Ontario Club. Right before I became president, I had happened to see a track meet that the Kiwanis Club put on in Upland, and I was so impressed with it, I asked our club if we'd be interested in doing something like that at the board meeting. And they said they would, so Frat Tunkay, Randy Kimball, and I went over and spoke to the gentleman. He gave us everything he had, and then the very next year we had our own Rotary Club track meet, which is still going on today. We also did our first year-long youth exchange with Stephanie Fox from New Zealand, who I happened to see last year after 32 years. We also had a year-long exchange student from Brazil, and we've had many summer exchange programs during that time with kids where they'd spend 3 weeks here from different countries, and then our students would go over there for 3 weeks. Italy, Denmark, Germany, many countries, England, and I was chair of that, and then we combined that into a program with multi-district called ScanX, and we continued on with that. Well, Rotary gives you a lot of exposure to not only other members in the community, which I think is the one reason to recommend Rotary to anyone. But it's a great organization for service, and that's what Rotary is about, is service to your community, service to international projects. And I've had great experiences because of that. I've done makeups in New Zealand, where I got a chance to helm a catamaran in Auckland. So I've met wonderful people doing makeups around the country and overseas.
Wonderful. Thank you, Rick.
You're welcome.
Well, that was really great. Big thank you to all the Rotary brothers and sisters that have made a positive difference in the world and our community for the last 50 years. Happy anniversary, happy 50th anniversary, Rotary Club of Rancho Cucamonga. A special shout out, please, to those that participated in the video, the making of this commemorative project. Virat Tunkay and Gino Filippi, thanks for your dedication, your creativity, and your good work. Thank you all, and happy anniversary to Rancho Cucamonga Rotary Club.